The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where the co-hosts sat in their usual semicircle, chatting animatedly about the latest Hollywood buzz. Joy Behar, with her signature sharp wit, leaned forward, her eyes twinkling with mischief as she addressed the guest of the hour, Nicolas Cage. He was there promoting his new film, a wild action thriller that promised ghosts, explosions, and existential dread. Cage, dressed in a sleek black suit with his hair tousled just so, nodded politely at first. The conversation started light, with Whoopi Goldberg asking about his method acting techniques, and Cage diving into stories of his eccentric preparations. But then Joy interjected, her voice cutting through like a knife. "Nick, come on, some of these roles you pick it's like you're trying to out-crazy yourself every time. What's the deal with that vampire movie? You bit a cockroach? That's not acting, that's just gross." The audience chuckled, but Cage's smile tightened. He shifted in his seat, his fingers drumming on the armrest. "Joy, you know, acting is about immersion, about becoming the character fully," he replied, his tone measured but with an undercurrent of intensity. Joy wasn't letting up. "Immersion? Sounds like an excuse to be weird. Remember that time you bought a pyramid tomb? Are you planning to haunt us from beyond?" The laughter grew, but Cage's eyes narrowed. He leaned in, his voice dropping. "Don't talk to me like that, Joy. You think you can just mock my life choices on national TV?" The set fell into a hushed murmur as the tension spiked. Whoopi tried to steer the ship. "All right, let's keep it fun, folks." But Cage was revving up, his face flushing. He stood abruptly, pointing a finger at Joy. "You sit there, judging from your comfy chair, but you have no idea what it's like to pour your soul into art." Joy blinked, surprised but defiant. "Sit down, Nick, it's just a show." Cage paced a step, his voice rising. "No, it's not just a show when you belittle someone's passion." The producers in the control room scrambled, signaling for a commercial break, but the cameras kept rolling. Audience members gasped, phones out to capture the meltdown. Cage ranted on about artistic integrity, referencing his Oscar win and the critics who never understood him. Joy fired back, "You're overreacting. It's entertainment." The back and forth escalated, with Cage invoking Shakespeare and Joy quipping about his beehive hairdos in old films. Finally, security hovered nearby as the segment wrapped chaotically. As the confrontation unfolded live on air, Nicolas Cage's outburst took center stage, transforming The View into an unexpected battleground of egos. Joy Behar, unfazed by the initial volley, crossed her arms and shot back with her trademark sarcasm. "Oh please, Nick, if you can't handle a little ribbing, maybe Hollywood isn't for you." Cage halted his pacing, whirling to face her directly, his eyes wild like in one of his intense movie close-ups. "Ribbing? This is disrespect. I've faced down supernatural forces on screen, battled personal demons off it, and you think you can reduce me to a punchline?" The other co-hosts exchanged glances. Sarah Haynes tried intervening with a soft, "Let's talk about the new movie instead," but Cage waved her off. "No, we're talking about this now. Joy, you've been doing this for years, poking at guests like they're zoo animals." Joy laughed incredulously. "Zoo animals? You're the one roaring like a lion." The audience was split, some cheering Cage's passion, others backing Joy's no-nonsense style. Cage delved deeper, recounting how media scrutiny had affected his family, his voice cracking with emotion. "You don't know the half of it, the divorces, the financial roller coaster, all while trying to create something meaningful." Joy softened momentarily but quickly regrouped. "Life's tough for all of us. Superstar doesn't give you a pass to flip out." The exchange grew more heated, with Cage invoking his uncle Francis Ford Coppola and the legacy of cinema, while Joy countered with pop culture jabs about his meme-worthy expressions. Behind the scenes, the director whispered urgently into headsets, but the live feed captured every raw moment. Viewers at home tweeted furiously, hashtags like #CageRage trending instantly. As the segment pushed past its time slot, Whoopi finally called for calm, but Cage wasn't done. He demanded an apology, his hands gesturing wildly. Joy refused, standing her ground. "Apologize for what? Asking real questions?" The standoff lingered, electric and unscripted, until a forced fade to black for commercials. Emerging from the commercial break, The atmosphere on The View remained charged, with Nicolas Cage still standing, his chest heaving from the adrenaline. Joy Behar sipped her coffee nonchalantly, but her eyes betrayed a mix of amusement and irritation. "Welcome back, everyone," Whoopi announced, trying to reset the vibe. "We're here with Nicolas Cage," and things got a bit spirited. Cage sat down reluctantly, muttering under his breath. "Spirited? That's one way to put it." The conversation attempted to pivot to his upcoming projects, but the undercurrent pulled it back. Sonny Hostin asked about his preparation for roles involving anger, unwittingly fueling the fire. Cage smirked bitterly. "Well, Sonny, after this, I won't need to prepare ya, I've got real material now." Joy couldn't resist. "See, even your meltdowns are method acting." That was the spark. Cage exploded again. "Don't talk to me like that. You think you're clever, hiding behind your panel, but you're just a bully in heels." The audience sued, and Joy's jaw dropped. "Bully? I'm the one getting yelled at by a grown man throwing a tantrum." The co-hosts jumped in, Alyssa Farah Griffin urging peace, but Cage was in full rant mode, detailing how talk shows exploit celebrities for ratings. "You invite us on, pretend to be friendly, then tear us apart for clicks." Joy retorted, "If you can't take the heat, stay out of the spotlight." The back and forth devolved into overlapping shouts, with Cage accusing the show of sensationalism and Joy defending free speech. Producers signaled wildly off camera, but the live energy was addictive. Social media blew up, clips going viral as fans debated who was right. Cage referenced his iconic lines from films like Face Off to emphasize his points, yelling, "Not the bees, try not the Behar." Joy laughed despite herself, but fired back with quips about his eccentric purchases, like dinosaur bones. The chaos peaked when Cage grabbed a prop from the table and slammed it down for emphasis, shattering the calm. Security stepped closer as the segment ended abruptly, leaving viewers stunned and hooked. Post-meltdown, the aftershocks rippled through the View's set, with Nicolas Cage composing himself amid whispers from the crew. Joy Behar, ever the pro, smoothed her blouse and addressed the camera directly. "Folks, this is lived, anything can happen." Cage, still simmering, interjected, "Yeah, like hosts crossing lines." The discussion veered into meta territory, with Whoopi moderating a debate on celebrity privacy versus public persona. Cage argued passionately, "We're people, not caricatures for your amusement." Joy countered, "But you put yourself out there, you expect questions." The intensity built again, Cage's voice booming. "Questions? Yes. Mockery? No." Audience members clapped sporadically, adding to the circus. Sarah tried lightening it with the joke about Cage's hair, but it backfired. "Even my hair? Really?" Cage exclaimed, running hands through it dramatically. Joy rolled her eyes. Drama King strikes again. This reignited the fuse. Cage stood once more, pacing like a caged animal, pun intended. "You don't get it, Joy. Art is sacred," she snapped back. "Sacred? Your movies are popcorn flicks." The insults flew, referencing Cage's filmography from Leaving Las Vegas to Ghost Rider. Co-hosts mediated frantically, but the raw authenticity captivated. Behind the curtains, executives debated cutting to tape, but ratings soared. Cage delved into personal anecdotes, sharing vulnerabilities about his career lows. "I've lost fortunes, rebuilt, all for the craft." Joy softened, admitting admiration for his dedication, but quickly added, "Doesn't excuse the outburst." The truce was fragile. Cage demanded respect. Joy insisted on honesty. As time ticked, the segment wrapped with uneasy handshakes, but the internet erupted in memes and analyses. Pundits dissected every word. Fans picked sides. Cage left the stage fuming, Joy smirking victoriously. The episode became legendary, replayed endlessly, boosting both careers ironically. In the wake of the explosive exchange, reflections on the View incident spread like wildfire across media outlets, but on set, the immediate aftermath saw Nicolas Cage lingering, engaging in off-mic chats with crew. Joy Behar, unflappable, turned to the audience. "See what happens when you mix caffeine and celebrities?" Laughter eased the tension, but Cage wasn't amused. "It's not a joke, Joy." The post-segment wrap-up attempted normalcy, with plugs for his movie, but undertones lingered. Whoopi praised his passion. "That's what makes you great, Nick." He nodded, but eyed Joy warily. Passion? Or just fed up with condescension? Joy quipped. Condescension? Pot, meat kettle. Sparks flew anew, though subdued. Cage elaborated on his frustrations with tabloid culture, voice steady but fervent. Every quirk gets twisted. Joy empathized briefly. We all deal with that, then jabbed, but we don't yell about it. The dialogue evolved into a deeper discussion on mental health and fame, surprising depth amid chaos. Audience questions poured in, one asking Cage for advice on handling criticism. Stand your ground, he said, glancing at Joy. She smiled slyly. Or sit down and chill. Banter continued, lighter now, but edged. Producers breathed relief as the show ended without further incident. Online, videos amassed millions of views, commentators hailing it as authentic TV gold. Cage's reps issued statements framing it as spirited debate. Joy tweeted playfully about Cage matches. The cultural ripple effect was immense, inspiring parodies on SNL and late-night shows. Fans dissected body language. Psychologists weighed in on ego clashes. Ultimately, the moment humanized both, showing vulnerabilities behind facades. Cage's career saw a bump in interest. Joy's rep as feisty solidified. The View's ratings spiked, proving controversy sells. Yet, beneath it all, a lesson in boundaries and respect emerged, though neither admitted fault publicly. Months after the infamous "Don't Talk to Me Like That" moment on The View, Nicolas Cage and Joy Behar found themselves reflecting in separate interviews, the incident etched into pop culture lore. Cage, on a podcast, admitted the outburst stemmed from accumulated stress. Joy pushed buttons, but it's on me for reacting. Joy, in her memoir promo, laughed it off. Nick's intensity, that's his charm. No hard feelings. The clip lived on, remixed into songs, GIFs, and TikToks, symbolizing unfiltered celebrity clashes. The View revisited it in anniversary specials, with co-hosts sharing behind-scenes tales. Whoopi recalled, "It was electric, a real emotion." The event sparked broader conversations on talk show dynamics, ethics of provocation. Experts debated if hosts overstep, guests overreact. Cage's film's post-incident drew crowds curious about the man behind the meme. Joy's book sales surged, her chapter on the spat a highlight. Ironically, they crossed paths at an award show, sharing a hug and jokes. "Still talking to me?" Cage quipped. "Only if you behave," Joy replied. The reconciliation went viral, closing the loop on the drama. Lessons learned: passion fuels art, but temperance tempers conflicts. The View continued thriving. Guests forewarned of the panel's edge. In Hollywood's ecosystem, such moments remind that stars are human, prone to eruptions under spotlights. The title became synonymous with epic TV fails turned wins, inspiring scripts and skits. Ultimately, it boosted empathy, showing even icons crack under pressure. As time passed, the anecdote softened into legend, a testament to live TV's unpredictability.